Game 2 is in the books and we're a week away from cut day. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the 5 dudes that I think are in danger of losing their iPad. Oh, and you see it. We gonna talk about that after the intro. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Bonafide, and this is Section 240, a channel all about the Tennessee Titans, but from a fan's perspective. Now, let's talk about the win that we had over the Seahawks on Saturday. Now, after 2 days of joint practices where the one, so you know, all the starters got most of the reps during the practice against the Seahawks, the starters rested during the preseason game. One little tidbit before we go further is that before the week was out, we got breaking news from Titan insider Jeffrey Simmons, who let us know in a big way that Arden Key had won his appeal and wouldn't be suspended. Now, this is my personal thing, so this is a little rant. The person who broke the initial story made it seem like it was a foregone conclusion that this suspension was going to be in the book. And you know, depending on who you are, you either support or defend that type of journalism. But again, now that it's been overturned, he ends up with egg on his face. And this is the same dude that tried to trip us up in 2020 with the whole COVID protocols thing again. So he does this again, trying to break some news, and it falls flat on his face. Now, I wish I could go back and do this video over again, because he would not be in the top 10 spot. He'd probably be out the list. I could have put No Context Titans or Wes Wisely in that spot, but we're just gonna leave it at that. But anyway, so we're 2-0 in the preseason. We won with a last-minute field goal during the game by rookie Braden Narverson. I've seen some people call him Nardwall. He did his thing. He kicked a 59-yarder, dog. A 59, and he probably had more room to spare. So it probably would have been good from like 60 plus, you know. And I know preseason wins don't mean anything, but it's always good. I mean, it's always good to get in the habit of winning, you know. Again, like I said, no starters played, and the QBs rotated. It was Malik started, then Rudolph came into the second quarter, then Malik for the third quarter, and then Rudolph ended the game. Now, my fan eyes tell me that neither one of them had a bad day. But, you know, you probably can get an edge in this thing to Mason Rudolph. I know in my last video I was talking about a potential QB battle for the backup, but honestly, I don't even know why I even brought that up, because we paid Mason Rudolph like almost $4 million, I think, to come be QB2. It was very, very unlikely that he was going to get paid that money and be QB3. So, now, I'm not saying he's like light years ahead of Malik. This is just my opinion. But at this point, it is just what it is. I don't even really want to dwell into it any further than that. You know, well, I look at it like this: if either one of them has to come in relief of Will Levis, Mason probably gives us the best chance, but we screwed either way, in my opinion. So that's how I see that. So Mason Rudolph is probably locked in as QB2. You know, we got the rule for new QB, so you can keep 3. That's a tongue twister. I'm not even gonna edit that out, because wow, what was that? You know, you can get 3 QBs on a Sunday. I think one of them it's an emergency QB, the new rule. So Malik probably has a spot there. I don't think. I'm thinking they're gonna carry 3 QBs. Man, took a lot just to say they're gonna carry 3 QBs. Sorry. Jaquin Jackson, man. Jaquin Jackson is your wide receiver 6 or wide receiver 7. Now, we'll get that in a minute, but he is specifically what Brian Callahan said you needed at that lower end of your wide receiver group. You need a player that can do multiple things, and Jaquin does that. He's awesome in the return game. He's already proven that here. He's awesome in the return game, and he's got hands in the receiving game. I think I was reading a tweet Derek Mason was on, and I think he was talking to Teron Davenport. Shout out Teron. Was talking to him, and he was like, Jaquin Jackson reminds him of himself. So that's high praise coming from arguably the greatest Titans wide receiver out there. So Derek Mason says he sees a lot of himself in Jaquin Jackson. So hey, take that for what you will, but that means a lot. So and his hands were nice. He had some nice little catches. I think he led the team in receptions and receiving yards that game. Now, if you're not following the games closely like that, you may not even heard about this dude. But David Martin Robinson, man, is forcing his way onto this roster. He's an undrafted tight end. I think I talked about it in my last video. He's an undrafted tight end from Temple. He is becoming that reliable big target. I mean, and he got some good run after the catch ability too. Now, I've been watching the game. Somebody will probably correct me in the comments, but I don't think I've ever seen him drop a pass that's been in his area. If it's in his area, he's got a good catch radius. But and I know I probably jinxed him because when we play the Saints, he's probably gonna drop 2 passes. But Callie was asked, I think, by Easton Freeze about the numbers when who do you have to cut to get to 53, and Callie basically said, we're not getting into those numbers, but we're choosing the best players on the team. And Easton's question was about keeping 4 tight ends. So, if you DMR, which was also a good gun in Warzone when it was Verdansk. I used to use that bad boy, a DMR. It's a good gun. But the DMR is really forcing his way into the conversation. You got Chig, you got Wow. Wow has had a concussion, so he's out. So, and then we got Nick Vanette. And now we got DMR. So 4 tight ends. I wouldn't be surprised if, on cut day, DMR is here. But because he's showing out, all right? Now, if last week was the Chance Campbell game, then this week right here was the Jaylen Hill one, man. He definitely got his locker secured with this performance. The man had like 3 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, 2 QB hits. I mean, for a 7th round pick, he showed out. He really is proving in practice and in the game that he belongs. There's a room for him somewhere in this edge group, especially when we thought Key was going to be suspended, or we thought, we were waiting for to hear back from that official word. But it looks like, he might sneak his way onto the back end of the roster. Now, we got 5 guys that are in danger of not making this roster. But if you dig into content, go ahead and smash that like button. Smash the like button and hit the subscribe button, baby, so you can join the section. All right? Cool. I'm going to give you a few minutes. All right. You did it? You hit the like button? You hit subscribe? You can hit the bell notification too if you want to get notified every time I drop a video. But, that's up to you. All right. Cool. All right. So, now, one thing that I've kind of been seeing over here, and this is kind of like a continuation from last season. When you got rookies like Jaquin Jackson, James Williams, who's kind of been flashing all over the place and could look to be a nice piece to the defense. And then you got Jaylen Hill, 7th round pick. And then you think about last year's pick, we picked up Josh Wild, who seems to be going to be a contributor, Tajay Spears. And then you got undrafted free agents like DMR and Otis Reese, who's looking to be probably one of those rotational linebacker impact pieces, things like that. All of that combined together. And then with the pickups, when we got Awuzie and we picked up DeAndre Hopkins and we got, Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd. All of these moves lets me know one thing, that the franchise is in good hands for Rand Carthon, man. That was his calling card. His calling card when he was with the 49ers was finding those late round gems, those diamonds in the rough. And right now, when he has the control that he has as the man here in Tennessee, he's consistently bringing in good talent. I'm not saying he's hitting on every single one of his picks, but the large majority of his picks are contributors to the team, and they're not just cast-offs that we use for 1 year and then move on from there. So I think he's doing a great job. Now, if you listen to some Nashville media up there, Stillman and in there, he'll tell you that Rand is being babysitted because he doesn't know what he's doing. But that's a load of hogwash, and again, I pray for all Nashville media that has to listen to that man because basura. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, yeah. But Rand is definitely the organization and the structure that they put in place has made him effective. Anthony Robinson, that whole scouting team is really doing the due diligence, and I think we're gonna see it pay dividends this year. So yeah. So cut date is August 27th. All right. And that's looming large, like that's right around the week, right around the corner, all right? And we got to get down to 53 players on that day. Now, Callie mentioned in one of his pressers that, we definitely gonna be cutting some good players around, Now, I know some of those players are gonna make the practice squad, but a lot of them may not make the practice squad, may not be able to be picked up, or they may be picked up on waivers, or they may not be picked up at all. So, after these 2 preseason games and what I've been seeing, what I've been reading, and after training camp, all the practices, joint practices, practices going on today, here are the 5 players that I think are going to be seeing coach in his office at the end of training camp, all right? Number 1 on the list, Trey Avery, man. Every big play by the offense or the visiting team, whether it be in practice and now in these preseason games, he's been the victim. And it really shouldn't come as no surprise to anybody that's paying attention. Trey Avery is not doing what you expect from a player with his team. You've been in this system for quite some time. I don't even remember when Trey Avery was drafted, but he's been here at least 3+ years in this system. I mean, cornerback is playing cornerback. And I know it's one of the most difficult positions in the NFL. But we're just not seeing the consistency. I think that's the key. The consistency with Trey Avery is just not there. All right. So he might stick on the PS squad, practice squad. He might, get waived and then we pick him up, after we make transactions. But yeah, I just don't think he makes the final 53. The next person up, and I got some. When I asked someone about this, I thought about it. I was like, yeah, because I haven't heard anything, and that's Shyheim Carter. And I think Shyheim Carter is not. It could be talent, but I think he's just a victim of circumstance. Because we got Amani Hooker, we got Jamal Adams, we got Quandre Diggs, we got Molden, who can play some safety, and we got the rookie. I think it's Jackson is his name. Jackson's name, who's probably going to take up that practice squad spot. So. He's the odd man out. And it's kind of hard to stand out when you that far down the depth chart. So I really don't think, unfortunately, Shyheim Carter's going to make it. Maybe he sticks on the practice squad, maybe he gets picked up by another team, but he probably won't make the last 53. The next one is going to be interesting. Hassan Haskins. Now, while he provides value at special teams, I don't think it's enough to put him on the roster over Julius Chestnut, who I feel like Julius Chestnut right now is firmly RB3. He's a more dynamic rusher and a receiver, and he has a nice burst of speed, and he kind of suits that 3-headed running back role that that kind of short yardage. He can go in between the tackles, but he can bounce it outside. That role behind Spears and Pollard. Now, Hassan may stick on the roster just for special teams. I can't see that happening. But maybe he makes the practice squad, but I think that's the best we can expect. I don't think he's going to overtake Chestnut unless there's an injury, which Julius is known to have over a period of time. So but I don't think he's making a roster. I don't think Hassan Haskins is going to make it enough to flush out. Now these next 2, he's probably going to get a lot of groans and complaints, but hey, this is what I think. Kyle Phillips. If Kyle Phillips is cut, the Titans will see a cap savings of almost $1 million, all right? And his dead cap money will be split up between 2 seasons. And I'm thinking this is probably the right move, all right? Now, don't get me wrong. When Kyle Phillips is healthy, he is a good slot receiver. He has great hands. He can catch. He's shifty. But the thing about it is that he can't stay healthy. He's out with a hamstring injury right now. So he's missing those valuable reps. He's missing those valuable time. And this is already a deep wide receiver room. And not to mention, Jaquin Jackson, who we just talked about, is showing that he can do multiple things at multiple spots. Really, really, really good. And there were reports of Kyle Phillips, I think, before the first preseason game. He was fielding punts before the game. And he was just dropping. So, honestly, the sands of time are quickly running out for Kyle Phillips. And this last one, You know him, you hate him, or you love him, but it's Mason Kinsey. This is his 5th training camp. He is the scrappy underdog. He is that guy that you want to root for. He talks a lot. He can bag it up. He can catch. And maybe if this was a different regime and a different timeline in the MCU, this was Earth 199999, he would be on the Tennessee Titans roster. But here on Earth 616, he ain't making the team, all right? The wide receiver group, I've already said this many times, the wide receiver group is already crowded, okay? So he's technically on the outside looking in, because if you go back to the one we just talked about, Kyle Phillips would probably make the roster before Mason Kinsey would. So he, it looks likely that it'll be another year on the practice squad probably for Kinsey, but he's definitely not making the 53-man roster, all right? So we're wrapping up. Those are the 5 players that I think are really in jeopardy of not making the 53-man roster. And we are almost to the regular season. So we're going to be dropping videos for every game. I got some new segments that are going to come up for the pregame and the postgame that we could definitely going to be. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. We're going to try to do a lot of different things here. I want this to be engaging between me and you fans. So, hey, look, everything we're going to get right, but hey, it's a fan channel. This is what it's about, hey. Like I said at the beginning of the thing, I know you see the drip. All right. So, yes, it is right. Our website is finally up and running, and now you can purchase your own Section 240 merch. All you got to do is hit the shop. So go to www. How many W's was that? Go to www.section240.com and click on shop. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got mugs. We're gonna be dropping more designs. We working on designs right now. So this is fan-centric stuff. This one right here, I like this one. It's my favorite one. It says, been a fan since Love You Blue to Tighten Up. All right, so don't support the channel, man. Go get it. They're very affordable, if I may say so myself. And it's very comfortable, Look, it rocks, it matches. Everything is, how they say, very demure, very kindful, very mindful. Not too brash. But don't forget, we got the 1K Oilers throwback giveaway. We still doing that. We're at 725 subscribers. All you gotta do to be entered in the contest is just be a subscriber. So all you gotta do is subscribe to the channel, and you could possibly win an authentic Nike Oilers throwback jersey. All right. So make sure you locked in with this section by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Just do whatever. Get this out to the media masses, because we want to get this up. And look, while there are only 53 spots on the final Titans roster, there's plenty of room in the section for us all, baby. Until next time, tighten up.